Hello, welcome to another episode of Montana Shares, your opportunity to find out about the nonprofits that make our state great. I'm your host, Bill Crane, and today I've got Larry from Montana Audubon. Welcome to the show, Larry.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Great spread. You know how to fill a background. I love it.
I'm glad I could help.
Good. So I think lots of people know what Audubon's doing. Let's kind of just catch everyone up. How is COVID affecting your operation? Sort of that's what's on most people's mind these days.
Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of executive directors about that same thing. Us specifically, it hasn't slowed down our policy and science work. I always like to say that Montana Audubon is really a three-legged stool. We have education, we have science, and we have conservation policy. Conservation policy is actually moving very well. We're doing some great things. Science, we just got out of a big two-week research project. So we're moving forward with those two areas. One of our legs of our stool is very affected by COVID, and that's education. Our center in Billings, we had to shut down when the schools closed in Billings, and a lot of those teachers that we have there, we've turned to working with us on science and policy so we can keep them employed. And I'm sure every organization is trying to figure out how to do that. But for frontline teachers, it was really hard on us when the school children aren't coming anymore. Mm-hmm. We've come out of that now. It's been 2 months, and now the governor has changed the phase, so we are actually starting camps today. So we're back in business, I'd say. But for 2 months, that was really hard for us. As far as operations for our offices, of course, everyone dealt with that. We suddenly had to deal with a new reality, which we don't see each other. We are on Zoom meetings, even our board meetings are Zoom. So that was a bit of an adjustment for us. And I'm not a very technically savvy person, so that was a challenge for me. But we were still able to have staff meetings, board meetings, and all the like. And we were working from home. We all had laptops. But as things changed and we were able to get back into the offices in Helena and Billings, we're almost back to normal, I feel.
Okay. Yeah, we're all getting really good at the Zoom meetings. And in some ways, I think they have advantages. I know when we used to have a board meeting that was some people on the phone and some people in the room will always dominate. And I have to say the last board meeting we had where everyone was on Zoom was there's a parity there that worked short of not being everyone in the room.
Yeah.
So it's nice. So I just have to ask, this is totally kind of probably off topic, but I saw the center down in Billings. This is on which exit? We should probably just clue people in. South Billings
South
exit?
Billings, yes.
So you turn south on South Billings exit and you get to this beautiful place down by the river. And at the time I was there's lots of trees being put in and stuff. Is it just like maturing into this little paradise now? Is it pretty fabulous?
It is, and thank you for saying that because it's a lot of hard work. And our partner there, the Yellowstone River Parks Association, YRPA, has been an outstanding partner for more than a decade. The idea of taking this gravel pit and turning it into a paradise is no small task, and we couldn't have done it without them and their incredible array of partners that have worked with us, planting trees, reclaiming that area. It's really a success story beyond being an awesome campus to teach and get kids outside, so close to Billings, as you know.
Right.
And now every fourth grade class goes to the center. So it's amazing in such a short period of time how it's turned around, both ecologically and as a great resource, a campus for environmental education.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where Billings people probably are really getting to know about it.
Yeah.
I think I don't get down toward Billings too often, but if you're traveling a long travel, it'd be a great place to stop and take a little stretch break and walk around a bit and enjoy sort of this beautiful campus that's being created. So yeah, I was just curious how it was shaping up. Because at the time I saw it, there were lots of trees still in little pots, but I was watching lots of people putting those trees out and what I knew it would be growing, so to speak.
And it's really the community of Billings and their commitment to it. It's been unbelievable. And just 10 years, that's quite a commitment.
Yeah, cool. So here's our other things. Thanks for the beef stick. These are bird-friendly beef stick. Let's talk about kind of this aspect of one of those three legs of the stool.
Yeah, it's our science leg, and it's a new adventure for us, Montana Audubon. We are partnering with National Audubon, which really started this program 3 years ago. And they're moving into states all over the West. And here in Montana, we're in a unique situation. We are not part of National Audubon. I mean, that's part of the nuances of Audubon. You'll see 17 states in the United States that are independent like us. So they reached out to us, and we were very excited to partner with them on this program. And because they're national, they have a bigger focus, a bigger marketing department, and it's really a market-based approach. What they're trying to do is work with ranchers all over the West to change their practices or just honor their great practices if they are doing things that are bird friendly, let's say, is that how we say it? And you as a consumer can go to the store and buy a package of beef that has our sticker on it and know that they are working with us. So we are going to be working with our ranchers here in Montana on this program, certifying their ranches, and in return they can mark up their price a bit. They can work with National Audubon's whole market base of restaurants. It'd be great to get into a national chain like Whole Foods, but they know that by partnering with us, their product is going to be really set apart in the marketplace. They'll see, just like organic and other things, now they can say, well, our beef is bird friendly, and we've worked with Audubon not just on monitoring birds on our property to see the health, but also adjusting our practices possibly for grazing. And so it's an opportunity for a win-win obviously for Audubon to promote this, but also more importantly the ranchers here in Montana to set aside their product in the marketplace.
Right. Let's just drill down real quick. You kind of mentioned the monitoring. What kind of practices, just a couple of practices that they would want to be doing to make it better for the birds?
Yeah, and it's really about how they manage their cattle, you know, and a lot of people are already doing it the right way, in our opinion. Sort of allowing for grazing, naturally not using feedlots except possibly in the really harsh winter months. And just a commitment. What we find is it's amazing, these conversations, as soon as we say birds, oh, I got to show you the birds I got on my property. I've got these sparrows, what are they? And having our team out there, our scientists out there meeting with them and building the trust with the rancher that we're going to be out there, you know, we're going to be monitoring, we're going to share the lists, and we're going to let you know if the practices you've been doing are really good for birds, and maybe you can make some adjustments. And the willingness is there; they want to do the right thing. So, so it's definitely that win-win of, well, I'm a rancher out here. I feel like I'm doing the right thing for birds, but it's great to have Audubon here to certify that. And now we get to put a label that says we are truly doing that, just like organic and other labels.
Okay. Well, I love partnerships.
Yeah.
I love that aspect. And especially, I know lots of people in Montana have been doing the right things for various reasons. My favorite story is the one farmer said, I've been an organic farmer forever because I couldn't afford the pesticides. and then it sort of became the thing to do, and then he was just positioned correctly that he had the longevity. And it was, you know, there's that, you know, that end of the spectrum, and then there's the people that put a lot of work into making sure they've done the right thing because they learned that it was the thing to do.
Yeah.
So, so you've, I've heard you recently won a lawsuit to try to protect some sage grouse stuff. What can you say about that?
Yeah, we had been a part of this for a long time. Actually, in 2015, we came together at the table with others, even oil and gas industry, and we sat down and we came up with a plan for sage grouse. And there was the previous administration, the Obama administration, is the one that eventually said, yes, this is the plans we're going to follow. And the state, the governor, was also behind these plans. And then 2017 rolls around, and there's a new philosophy on how to come into the state of Montana and Wyoming and sell oil and gas leases in these areas that we all agreed to we'd stay out of. And I want to point out, you know, we're a bird organization, so of course the greater sage grouse, right behind us over here, is important to us, but we think of it as a flagship species. We sometimes say what's good for the bird is good for the herd. We're talking about some of the most imperiled lands in our state, this sagebrush country. So we felt this was a way to protect those areas, and we had an agreement and we had a deal. So the lawsuit, which we don't normally get involved, this is the first time we've ever been a plaintiff on a lawsuit against the federal government, and we were just saying, hey, we had a deal, we all agreed to it. We did it in a way that Montana does it, which we all sat in the table, like you said earlier, and came to an agreement, and we had a conversation, and we all agreed, let's not put the bird on endangered species list, let's just protect these core areas. And then to have the government come in and say, no, I don't care what you did in 2015, we're going to come in and bulldoze, and we're going to sell these leases. So we just challenged that because it was an agreement that we came to. And so the judge saw it in our favor. It's our first time we've ever won a lawsuit, ever been involved in a lawsuit in over 40 years. It's nice to have the first win.
1-0. It's
What is
still
it?
small numbers, but what the heck?
Maybe when I retire, we'll do another one. But I'd like to keep that record as long as possible. But the important thing, it's not just the sage grouse. It's the fact that we were together on the lawsuit with other partners like Montana Wildlife Federation, National Wildlife Federation, National Audubon Society. We were with these partners who all agreed that it's not just about the bird, it's about this habitat, and we all agreed to protect this 470 square miles. So ultimately, there's other places that they can explore, even working on private lands, but these lands we wanted protected, we all agreed to it, and all we were saying is we had a deal, and let's stick to that deal.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's wrap up with this last thing. You've got a new Audubon in the Parks initiative. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's an exciting initiative. I remember last time I was here, we talked about Great Falls, and you had told me this beautiful story about biking along the waterfront there. And we've been in that area too. We just had a big event in Great Falls and in Billings on a conservation project that we were working on, and it's just a beautiful setting. So we've been talking to the state park, we want to start talking to other agencies, and what we'd like to do is, we know there's capacity needs, especially in our state parks. If you've followed any of the stories about the lack of capacity, the amount of people who are enjoying our parks to death, and the amount of staff the state has to staff those parks, we're hoping we can be help in that area, because what we're trying to do is take the success we've had in Billings and spread it all over the state. But we know we can't build Audubon centers all over the state. It's not feasible.
Right.
But they're great facilities, like where you were. Great Falls has this site called Giant Springs State Park, the most visited state park in Montana. What if we had an Audubon employee there who could do the same programs we're doing in Billings, taking out fourth graders on our ANTS program, Audubon Naturalists in the Schools, taking other grades as well, birding along that beautiful trail that's already there, and there's a building. So what we're trying to do is get to another win-win, like we're doing with ranchers, is working with state agencies, federal agencies, maybe down the street, Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center with the U.S. Forest Service. We're trying to find out where we can help in capacity, not just to reach our goals of environmental education across the state of Montana and get kids into this conservation ethic and understand why things like the sage grouse are important, but help and capacity needs, visitor service, interpretation. Those state parks are loved to death, and we want to help with capacity. So if there's a partnership there, we're exploring those.
It's like a half mile with these two super popular federal and state parks right beside each other, and this absolutely gorgeous trail down by the river that connects. Sort of, there's a little bit of a zigzag to get up to Lewis and Clark, but it's a really phenomenal, beautiful area out there.
And it's the second largest school district in the state of Montana, and those kids have no center program, not like you see in Missoula or Bozeman, or now, of course, Billings because of our center. So instead of building a building, we have these beautiful facilities, we have beautiful trails, access for buses, and why can't we just take what we have and bring our great curriculum to that area?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Oh, you're in? Okay, Bill.
Yeah. There are times that I wish I kind of lived in other towns just for periods of time, because I really love being there, and I'd like to be there more, but I also love Helena too. So
yeah. Helena's great.
So, well, time rips by. It's thanks for being on the show again, as always.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for tuning in, as always, because we appreciate you taking the time to find out what's going on in the state and the nonprofit world. Have a wonderful day.